Hey besties, welcome back to my channel. I'm Maria, here with another deep dive into the world of Sister Wives, the unexpected turns, raw truths, and everything in between. Let's get into it. Tell Savannah I love her. That's all Kody said. Flat, distant, like he was rattling off a grocery list. No call, no visit, no eye contact. He just sat across from Janelle, dropping what should have been a moment of comfort like it was an errand for her to run. And I remember thinking, how does a father say something like that without feeling the weight of it? Savannah wasn't angry or bitter. She was still open, still willing to talk. But Kody didn't pick up the phone. He didn't drive over. He just handed it off to Janelle, like it was just another task to check off a list. And in that moment, the mask fell. We weren't seeing a father mourning the distance with his daughter. We were watching a man performing a script he'd written for himself, one where he was always the victim, even as he emotionally abandoned the people he claimed to love. Hi everyone, I'm Maria, and you're watching TLC Next Chapter. If you're new here, don't forget to hit subscribe, tap the like, and drop a comment below. I want to know what you think. Were those infamous COVID rules really about keeping the family safe, or were they a convenient excuse for Kody and Robyn to close the gates and lock everyone else out? Because the closer you look, the more the cracks start to show. This was never just about social distancing, it was about emotional distancing. And one by one, the other wives, Mary, Janelle, Christine, realized something painful. No matter how much they complied, no matter how many rules they followed, they were never really part of Kody and Robyn's world. Because what Kody and Robyn were building wasn't a family, it was a fortress built on double standards, selective rules, and emotional manipulation, brick by brick, until only two people were left standing inside. Let's talk about how it all started to unravel and why the story Kody and Robyn are telling now doesn't match what the cameras showed us. When the COVID protocols finally showed up in the Brown family, it felt like a turning point. But what really shocked everyone wasn't the strictness or the endless list of rules. It was that 3 of the 4 wives hadn't even seen them until months into the pandemic, literally months. And in the middle of this tense, emotional conversation, Robyn casually dropped, "I've been doing this for 7 months." 7 months? The look on the other wives' faces said everything. Wait, what? How? Who gave her these rules? Why was she the only one following them from the very start? And more importantly, why hadn't anyone else seen them? That single comment shifted the entire mood. Suddenly, this wasn't about safety, it was about secrecy. How could Robyn be the only one to know what the rules were if this was supposed to be a family plan? From that moment, the questions kept coming. Why did Robyn know things the others didn't? Who was really making the rules, Kody or Robyn? And if this was truly about health and protection, why wasn't everyone informed from the start? This wasn't just about wiping down groceries or quarantining mail. It was about access, about control, and Robyn had both. While the others were stuck in confusion, unsure if they could see their kids or spend time with their spouses, Robyn was already following the rules. She was already inside the circle, and if you weren't inside that circle, you weren't part of the plan. It's easy to dismiss it as caution, but if it was about health, why weren't the rules written down sooner? Why weren't they discussed openly? Why were the other wives treated like rebels when really they were just left in the dark? Robyn's quiet revelation didn't sound like a proud statement. It felt like a confession, a confirmation of what so many viewers had suspected. The rules weren't just rules, they were walls. Walls that kept Kody and Robyn protected, prioritized, and safely separated from the rest of the family. If there was ever proof that loyalty meant nothing in that family anymore, it was Mary. Out of everyone, she was the one who followed Kody's rules the most faithfully. But it didn't matter, because in the end, loyalty was never the currency that counted for Kody and Robyn. Total isolation. No visitors, no outings. Mary did everything by the book, stayed home, wore the masks, followed every single rule, even if it meant completely cutting herself off from everyone. And for what? Despite her sacrifice, she still wasn't allowed to see Kody. Not once. Not even Robyn. So, what was the point of all that obedience? She did everything right and was still treated like she was a threat. Meanwhile, Robyn's nanny was coming and going from the house every single day. No problem. Those rules, it turns out, only applied when Kody and Robyn wanted an excuse to shut someone out. Janelle and Christine saw the double standard immediately. Janelle's sons, Garrison and Gabriel, were working and living their lives as carefully as they could, but Kody used their jobs as a reason to avoid her home entirely. Christine was labeled unsafe just because she was close with Janelle. That was all it took. She was cut off with barely a word of explanation. But Mary's situation was the saddest of them all. She wasn't defiant. She didn't question Kody. She wasn't asking for anything special. She just wanted to be seen. And when the family gathered at Coyote Pass, you could see how scared she was to even make a harmless joke about the rules being Robyn's. Robyn snapped. The mood changed instantly, and you could tell Mary immediately regretted speaking at all. That fear, that constant walking on eggshells, didn't come from being unsafe. It came from being excluded for so long that even breathing wrong might push her further out. She was trying so hard to stay in favor. But favor with who? Kody barely looked at her, and Robyn clearly didn't want to share him. That's the real heartbreak. These women built their lives around a man who demanded loyalty, obedience, and unity. But when they gave it to him, it was never enough. Because it wasn't about shared effort. It was about picking favorites. And if you weren't Robyn, you were no longer part of the story Kody was telling. Now, let's talk about the double standard. Because once you see it, you can't unsee it. Kody and Robyn painted a picture of a household locked down tighter than a fortress. Mail sanitized, groceries wiped down, everyone quarantined before they could even be seen. But when it was their own comfort at stake, those rules didn't seem to apply. The nanny came and went daily, and when Christine asked, "What does the nanny do?" it wasn't sarcasm, it was confusing. If Kody was so worried about safety, why was someone from outside the family in the house every day, while his own kids weren't allowed inside? Then there was Dayton, Robyn's son from her previous marriage. He struggled with the strict rules, just like Gabe and Garrison. But instead of being pushed out, he was given a trailer on the property. He was included. His presence wasn't a problem. But for Janelle's sons, suddenly the rules got impossibly strict. Kody told Janelle they'd have to move out if she wanted him to visit. No trailer, no compromise, no compassion, just leave. And then there was Gabe's birthday. Kody didn't show up. He didn't call to wish him a happy birthday. He called, but only to talk about COVID rules, business as usual. Gabe picked up that call hopeful, maybe even excited, thinking his dad had remembered. But no, and you could see the hurt on his face. He tried to keep it together, but it stung, because it always stings when someone you love forgets you're there. But here's where it gets even more twisted. While Kody was refusing to see Janelle's sons, claiming it was too dangerous, he and Robyn were out at restaurants, shopping at places with way more risk than Janelle's living room. Robyn was even pulled over once. No mask, no precautions. So where were the rules then? What happened to the lockdown, the sanitizing, the isolation? It became clear that the rules only existed when Kody and Robyn wanted to build a wall around themselves, a wall to keep everyone else out. That's what made it so hard to watch, because it wasn't just about inconsistency, It was about selective control. Kody said he couldn't go to Christine's house because she was seeing Janelle. He couldn't go to Janelle's because her sons worked. He couldn't go to Mary's. For what reason exactly? He never really said. Yet he could sit comfortably in Robyn's house, acting like it was some fortress of virtue while the rest of the family was shut out. And here's the truth no one wants to say out loud. The rules weren't about protection. They were about permission. And the only ones who had that permission were Robyn, her kids, and Kody himself. Here's something that's been quietly happening. Blink and you might have missed it. Robyn, the same woman who once stood tall, steering conversations and setting expectations, is now reintroduced to us as the shy wife. All of a sudden, she's soft-spoken, timid, gently wringing her hands in every confessional, whispering about how she just wants peace in the family. And let me just say, it doesn't track. If you've been watching Sister Wives from the start, you know Robyn was never shy. Assertive? Absolutely. Strategic? Without a doubt. But shy? Not at all. She wasn't shy when she showed up and immediately started making demands, like insisting on equal time with Kody before they were even married. She wasn't shy when she picked out multiple wedding dresses for Kody to see, something none of the other wives were allowed to do. And she certainly wasn't shy when she pushed for that 11-day honeymoon right after their wedding, even though Christine had just given birth and was drowning in newborn chaos. She didn't ease into the family structure. She set her own terms and expected the rest to fall in line. From managing the family gift exchange to calling out Maddie for leaving the church, Robyn was always vocal, emotional, and in control. And now we're supposed to believe she's just a quiet woman caught in the crossfire? It feels like a rebrand, a complete rewrite of the woman Robyn has always been. Not because she's had a sudden epiphany or transformation, but because the backlash has gotten too loud. After season upon season of fans calling out the obvious favoritism, the inconsistent rules, the manipulation, it's like Robyn decided to rewrite the narrative from power player to helpless bystander. But here's where the rebrand starts to unravel. Because when Kody talks about her now, it's almost cartoonish. He's constantly describing her as shy and sweet and so misunderstood. Let's be honest, it doesn't sound like genuine admiration. It sounds like a PR pitch. He needs her to be likable. He needs her to be above reproach. Because if Robyn is seen as the quiet one who just wants family unity, then everyone else must be the problem, right? Except we've seen the footage. We've heard the tone. We've watched the subtle power plays and the side eyes for years. Robyn has never been shy about getting what she wants. What we're seeing now isn't vulnerability. It's control, dressed up in a softer outfit. A carefully crafted performance designed to make you forget the patterns we've all watched since season 1. And maybe the saddest part? It's working for some people, but not here. Here's what happens when you spend years trying to control the story. You forget that the people watching remember how it really went down. Because now, in these recent seasons, Kody has positioned himself as some kind of misunderstood victim, as if all he ever wanted was unity and love and connection, and somehow it just slipped through his fingers. It's like he's rewriting the past with a sad face and a few emotional confessions. But the truth was filmed. Kody now says he was betrayed, that his wives pulled away, that his kids stopped respecting him. But where was that same energy when Christine was sleeping on a couch during visits? Or when he completely missed Isabel's major back surgery, choosing to stay with Robyn because of COVID concerns? And yet, days later, he was out running errands, eating at restaurants, breaking the very rules he used to justify skipping his own daughter's moment of need. Robyn says she just wants peace, that she's heartbroken over the family falling apart. But let's rewind. Robyn refused to participate in the family gift exchanges because she decided other children were unsafe. She allowed her kids to stay isolated from the rest of the siblings and never encouraged Kody to reach out to his other children, unless a camera was there to catch her gently saying, "You should call your kids." But even that was loaded. She added, "The phone works both ways," a line that gave Kody the out he wanted. That wasn't neutral. It was enabling. It wasn't passive silence. It was an active separation. Years of drawing invisible lines, justifying favoritism under the mask of protocol and concern. Robyn consistently presented herself as the one trying to hold the family together. But in truth, she was only protecting her corner of it, no matter who got left behind. And Kody? He followed that blueprint. He stopped showing up unless there was praise. If you challenged him, you were unsafe. If you questioned him, you were disrespectful. If you didn't fall in line, you were pushed out. He even started referring to his other kids as your kids when talking to Janelle and Christine, as if they'd never really been his unless they adored him without question. That's what makes this new version of the story so hard to stomach. Because now Kody and Robyn are suddenly painting themselves as the ones who were hurt the most, the ones who tried the hardest, the ones who were wronged, when everything we watched over nearly 2 decades tells a different story. This narrative shift? They're hoping we've forgotten the details, the missed surgeries, the ignored birthdays. The children were forced to process rejection in front of millions. The wives who followed every rule, only to be told they were still not enough. And now, they're being told they were the problem all along. The emotional fallout is enormous. Relationships destroyed, trust shattered, children disconnected from their father, wives who gave everything and walked away with broken hearts. And the ones left at the center, Kody and Robyn, are trying to convince us that none of it was their fault. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and drop your thoughts below.